Urban Questions, a collaborative event with Write SSA and the Adelaide Fringe. I'm your MC host for tonight. I'm Devon. Nice to meet you all. So some housekeeping things before we start. Tonight's event is being live streamed, so please have your phones on silent. We will have about a 10-minute break before everybody gets too angsty. But so for toilet breaks, a drink and a chat. Women's toilets are down the ramp and men's toilets are near the concession stand. Before we begin, acknowledgement of country. Give them a minute.
Nyangi Nyanguai, we are the first peoples of the River Murray and Mallee. Our laws and customs crisscross this country, and we acknowledge our custodians of our lands and waters. Nawai, Nanguruku, Nyinte, Nrolti, Narket, Nawang. We also give respect to the Irawirrung people's land that we are present on. We are grateful and continue to acknowledge and share recognition of our people. Thank you.
So, like I said earlier, Counter a project that Write Adelaide Fringe presented to regional writers. Tonight they will be answering the question, what does it mean to live and tell stories in rural Australia? First up, we have Tumu King, who enjoys, he is a writer who enjoys all aspects of the creative process, frequently bites off more than he can chew with his passion of learning, and has recently begun poetry and become a little addicted. Since then, his passion is now helping others refine their craft. Please welcome him up to the stage.
Bright up here. So I'm reading the Nativity of an Obscure Sorrow. Not all sorrows are sad. Some of them are old friends, ready to be picked up again on days when we return to the ancient archives of our lives, dust off the memory books and wonder, what happened to them? My sorrow is real, but I hope you'll know some of them in some capacity, in passing familiarity, and welcome me in celebrating the arrival of a new one. If you don't, I hope you're either very young or I'm a very poor judge of what constitutes a shared experience. Please come forward, stay in your seats though, and meet. Austen, the wishful omen of the first sign of the autumn, a subtle coolness in the shadows, a rustling of dead leaves abandoned by their parents on the pavement, or a long skein of geese sweeping overhead like the second hand of a clock striking 13. Sonder, the realization or discovery thrown around you, including strangers, passing on the street, as your own, which they are constantly living and trapped within, just like you. A feeling of smallness and insignificance that precedes nihilism before the heat death of empathy robs you of compassion. It's a psychological skeleton we develop from childhood. It protects us from anxiety and trauma. It is the tree houses within your brain, with bracken and thistle twisted on the outside. As an adult is so hard when we have to navigate others' trials. Wriggle just wants to keep you safe. Safety. Mikhail Bakhtin is not a sorrow. And he wrote about carnivals, truth, and community. And he's going to help me, not literally, talk about creativity in the regions. An often used analogy for gifted children is a cheetah, which is an odd word, isn't it? It comes from a derivative of a Sanskrit word meaning adorned or painted. A gifted child is often compared to a cheetah because the animal's defining characteristic is its speed. Without it, in a cage, can it really be a cheetah? The same is often applied to a gifted child. If they are not given freedom and space to express, to run, to paint, to adorn the world around them, are they not the same as any other child? Writing in a remote community has always given me that space, the freedom to run, experiment, to paint and adorn my surroundings with my oddities. Mikhail wrote about a range of topics, but one which always struck out to me is the notion of the carnival, that truth and consensus is only ever reached through community discourse, which runs the gamut of stakeholders. Is it possible to find truth in cities as Mikhail defines it? I don't think so. You can unearth smaller pockets of truth here and there. Where's the best kebab shop? What's the best winery? But approaching absolute truth is as difficult to accomplish with Mikhail as anything else, which I think as it should be. Historians have long since given up. The past is a rich tapestry, and to do a story justice, we unravel it one thread at a time. The trick is to make sure you don't return to the same strand every time. Study it exclusively and consider it the definitive edition. Truth and storytelling is a tricky thing. We don't always pay much attention to our sorrows, but they have helped me guide myself to truths of self, which are sometimes easier to ignore. And it's so easy to distract ourselves with the prettiness of the present moment, isn't it?